Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Adam Smith once again. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm pleased to be in Camden, actually. My family's all from around the North London area, and I actually walked in here with Baz and the team from Boxer, and I walked past Hawley Crescent, just round the corner, which is where I got my first TV job at TVAM, probably before you were born, but TVAM was the old GMTV. So I got my first job there. I worked the nights there at TVAM, so it was just get down memory lane a little bit. Lost their franchise, GMTV came in, and anyway, that was a long time ago. But quite nice being here, great gym, and really looking forward to June the 11th, which is a fantastic return for our fight nights. June's packed with content coming from here, from across the world, with America and Australia as well. So we're really itching to get back. We've got a few days left of May, but June is going to be an absolutely thunderous return for boxing on Sky. So very excited about that. I think the last few weeks has been more business out of the ring to deal with, getting our Olympic business sewn up, and now we can let them go and have some fun.
How long have you been with Sky Sports now, Adam?
Blimey, 28 years this August. So I started in 1994, and my first event was the first fight on Chris Eubank Sr.'s World Tour, which took us to not very far in the world, actually. There was one in Sun City, but it was mainly around the UK. We had a fight with, his first fight was against a guy called Maurizio Amaral in London. Then I think he fought maybe Sam Story. He had one across in South Africa. Then Manchester for Henry Wharton, when he tried to get the referee to stop the fight. And it all sort of, it ended up in Mill Street with Steve Collins. It was a great time, that 94. Then Frank Warren joined us in 1995. He brought us Nassim Mohammed and Frank Bruno and Nigel Benn, and through that was a relationship with Don King, who brought us Mike Tyson. So, it started to rev up then. But Sky Boxing started before me, back in sort of 1989, 1991 sort of time, the first Tyson-Bruno fight. But I've been there since 94, so it's been quite some journey. I've seen a lot of fighters come and go.
How important would you say throughout that journey, having Olympians? Obviously, the recent 2021 Tokyo Olympics, you've got most of them on Sky Sports Boxing now.
I think quality is paramount in this business, in this industry. Yes, sometimes you get a fighter like Nassim Mohammed, who didn't go to the Olympics, was a great junior standout. Ricky Hatton, great sort of ABA champion and did everything here, but went professional early. Occasionally you get fighters like that who break the mold. But mostly, if you're a great Olympian, you'll end up being a pretty good pro, more often than not a world champion. And I think I've looked carefully at the Olympics and the amateurs in the last sort of 3 cycles, really. I was lucky enough to work with Savannah Marshall for a few years at Sky, mentoring her when she just came out of the Olympic cycle, and she was looking to, she was an amateur still, but looking to turn pro at some point. So I got to know quite a lot of the team at Team GB. Obviously, AJ, trained alongside them a lot as well. And I think what Rob McCracken and the guys and girls in Sheffield have done has been miraculous, really. I think not only have they produced fantastic boxers or taken talent and made them shine, but they've also got a great system up there. They get their nutrition, they get their conditioning, they get their physio, they get their psychotherapy, they get help on mental and physical health, and they get they're surrounded by the elite and the best, and you see them come out and they communicate really well. They're shining, and I think that it was very important with Tokyo being the best ever and having the best hall to really get into the Olympics and go and see them beforehand, which we did. I went to see them before even we had the deal with Ben Shalom, and afterwards I said to Ben, look, when they go to Tokyo, I expect a great deal of them to medal, and we drew up a list, and I said these are the ones that I think we should really go after. Galal Yafai, I think, made the right decision actually to go to Eddie for a number of reasons, but we were in the fight and the battle for Galal, but it was very professional. He thanked us for our interest, and that was great, and we wished him well, and I'm sure Galal will become a world champion of that, I've no doubt. But I'm very, very pleased that we've landed Fraser Clark, the captain of Team GB, the heavyweight, the one with huge charisma. He's going to be fantastic for us in mentoring young fighters coming through and trying to achieve his own dream of becoming world heavyweight champion. You've already seen him as a pundit, as a commentator, as an analyst. He just fits and ticks so many boxes for us, Fraser. We got Fraser. Karis and Lauren were a personal thing for me. I said to Ben, I want them. I think they're the power couple of sport going forward. We saw them at the Boxing Riders the other night. They just are fantastic, and I think we're going to have so much fun with them. And I think there is no limit to where they can go. So really important. You know, John Wish and the team had already got Caroline very early on, Caroline Dubois. And I believe Caroline is going to transcend boxing. So we had one almost in the bank there, and so talented. And it was actually quite easy, that negotiation. Fraser was tough, the girls were tough, and Ben Whittaker was very tough. But you know what? You've got to have these fights. You've got to pay the money for quality. And for us at Sky, it's about looking forward. It's about getting the best young talent. I've just seen Shannon Ryan come in. I've just seen, you know, Ebony Jones. I look all around me, and the boxer talent pool is fantastic. They haven't all been Olympic, you know, had that experience in the amateur game. You look at Georgia O'Connor and others, you know, around. They don't. They're all going to make their own way. But I think it's very, very important to get that elite quality. So we've done the signings. We've won that battle, I think. But look, it's about us. It's about our business. It's about Boxer and Sky. We've had a year together now. We know each other that bit more. We've got great fight nights coming up. Lauren's turning pro June the 11th. Can't wait for that. Karis is turning pro June the 25th. We've got Adam Azim back on that. Night of the Young Guns. We've got the 2 tournament winners. So we've had great tournaments, and now we're taking Corey Gibbs and Dylan Chima, and we're doing what we said. We're giving them the contracts, giving them the Sky platform. Are they going to go as far as some of these Olympians I've mentioned? I don't know. But everyone's got an opportunity now. Opportunity from grassroots level to the top of boxing. And I tell you what, some of these guys and girls are going to come through and become real stars of the sport. Who? If you tell me and look at that list, I couldn't tell you exactly, and neither could you. But I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun finding out. And I'm very pleased, whereas DAZN have got a huge stable, BT, Matchroom, and that huge talent, a huge competition out there, and great fights on different channels is fantastic for the fans. But I'm very pleased with the young fighters we've got, who I believe on this Sky platform, with the arsenal we've got, and all the other sports, and the entertainment world, and everything up to Sky Glass now that's, you know, generating and evolving in the Sky Comcast world, that these fighters who've chosen Boxer and Sky are going to be in for a hell of a ride, a hell of a lot of publicity and eyeballs. You add to that our great deal with Top Rank, who are providing those 2 phenomenal fights in June and have already given us wonderful, wonderful action over the last year. I'm pretty pleased to how we've coped with what happened last summer, and we're in a really good position. So let's look forward. Let's get on to what is going to happen and what we're going to, because the proof is what fights we put on and how we build these stars.
Big news in boxing over the last couple of days, Adam, coinciding with the statue made for Deontay Wilder over in America. He's returning. Deontay Wilder returns. Are you surprised?
I'm happy. I love the Bronze Bomber. Deontay, I mean, I've had so much fun with Deontay Wilder. He's not always been with Sky, but when he has, he's got I love fighters who've got electricity and charisma and personality, and you don't quite know what they're going to say next. When he told me he was a scuba diver, you know, he's just one of those characters. And of course, he possesses the power and, you know, to turn anyone's, you know, lights off. And the trilogy he had with Tyson Fury was fantastic. You know, Tyson proved himself in different ways over the 3 fights. Don't forget, Deontay played an enormous part in all 3 of them, especially, I think, the last one where he was just so close to winning and then showed an incredible heart. And this is about fighters, even when they lose, like Amir Khan losing to Kell Brook. You know, the bottle he showed going through that defeat, and the bottle that Deontay Wilder showed, refusing to give up, incredible. He doesn't have to fight again. I had a lovely lunch with Shelley Finkel in New York, and I said to him, when are we getting Deontay back? He said, Adam, relax. He's having some fun. He's having some time out. He's coming back. He missed us. He missed it too much. It's great, isn't it? You know, Tyson's in retirement. AJ and Usyk are ready to fight again. We've seen, you know, Joe Joyce is in there. I mean, Dillian Whyte will come again. Andy Ruiz. It's a Joe Parker. It's a fantastic heavyweight division. And I'm really excited about it. And I think that Deontay coming back, I like the Dillian Whyte fight. I think that's a great fight. But then again, AJ and Deontay, it's a great fight. Andy Ruiz and Deontay, Joe Joyce, AJ, let's see what happens with Usyk. But I mean, there's so many, and would he ever want to or try and fight Fury one more time? I mean, you're sort of done with the trilogy, but that last fight was so sort of up and down that you could see that again. So I think it's great news Deontay's back. Really excited, and I shall be messaging him later and saying, welcome home.
With obviously Dillian Whyte, potentially he could still sign for Sky Sports. Would you say that's a likely fight, him and Deontay?
I love that fight. I mean, they've talked about it. Dillian's called him out a long time. Can you imagine the build-up to that? The personalities? I'd love that fight. And I'd love Deontay to fight over in London. So Deontay Wilder, my friend, if you're watching, come and fight over here. It was a pleasure to have you alongside us for AJ and Klitschko commentating. But we know you want to be in the middle of that ring, whether it's at Wembley or wherever. I would love to see Deontay come over here and fight a massive fight. Yeah, Dillian Whyte will be brilliant. Why not? Let's do it.
Fantastic, good to hear, good to hear. Also, in the last couple of days, there's a video of AJ fronting up some students on Twitter. I'm just wondering what you thought.
I just answered Umar's question earlier. I actually haven't seen it. That's the truth. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But what I do know is that AJ is fully concentrating on the job in hand, which is to try and right the wrong of the Alexander Usyk results. So all he should and needs to be concentrating and focusing on, I'm sure, is his training under Angel Fernandez. Obviously, Angel's got Fraser Clark, and we hear things from the camp that AJ is absolutely, primed and ready for this rematch. It's a huge ask, off the back of what happened first time around. A lot of people think the same thing will again with Alexander Usyk proving too good. And then there's others who believe that if AJ gets his tactics right and that he utilises his style and goes back to doing what he does best and getting in front of people and closing down the corners, that he'll exact revenge. He managed to exact revenge on Andy Ruiz out in Saudi. Can he do it again? That's all that's concerning me at the moment is what happens with AJ Usyk too. And also, obviously, from my point of view, is whether we will get that fight. There's still negotiations going on. I remain ever confident that we started with Anthony Joshua and we will finish with Anthony Joshua. We want him for the entirety of his career, and hopefully we'll get some announcements soon. So yeah, but I haven't seen the video.
Cool. What do you think, why do you think Angel Fernandez is the man that Anthony Joshua chose?
You're going to have to ask Anthony that. I think Angel's a terrific coach. I like the fact that he's studied it under the great Cuban coaches. Ishmael Salas, I know he's looked up to. Jorge Rubio, who I know very well from a long time ago, from David Hay days, from Amir Khan days. I think Angel's developing into one of the great trainers. AJ will have his reasons. Eddie's been saying as well that somebody else might come in as well. He went all around the world. He made his decision. And a fighter's got to stick to that. Rob McCracken was the general. He did so much for AJ in terms of not just training him, but mentoring him as well and bringing him through. And he deserves enormous credit, unbelievable credit. And I know Anthony, I'm sure, will always give him that. Maybe he just needed to freshen it up. He went with someone that was working with him as a sort of sidekick before, but now has taken the reins. I sort of want to get the business side done. Then when that's done, I like to go up and see them and spend a bit more time in Loughborough and that sort of thing. But let's just get the fight and the deals tied up, which I'm sure they will be in the coming days. And then we can start thinking about the fight in its entirety, because it's a huge fight for Anthony Joshua and for global boxing.
Cool. One more thing then, Adam. Clarissa Shield, Savannah Marshall, is September 3rd the proposed date as of today?
Not sure about September 3rd. I know it will be likely to land in September. Obviously, it's a fight that's being talked about for a long time. We've heard the beef again from Clarissa about the in quotes, fake injury. Savannah is injured, and I know Clarissa loves winding it up, and I know Savannah loves taking the bait and dishing some back. I mean, it's just got everything, this fight. We were lucky enough to get Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano in the Garden the other week. This is going to happen on UK soil at prime time in September. I cannot wait. It is probably the fight. We talked about AJ Usyk, of course. We can't wait for that. I can't wait for June the 11th. I'm a fight fan. I can't wait for the 25th. I can't wait for Haney and Kambosos and all of those. But there's something special about Savannah and Clarissa. They go back a long way. There's a feud that is 10 years in the making. They are going to unify the entire division. Savannah Marshall was a Sky Scholar, And to see her come from the ruins of London 2012 and the time where she just wanted to go off and be a teacher and have done with boxing, to see her ascendancy through the professional division to where she stands today, and to watch the GWOAT, to watch what Clarissa Shields has done to transcend boxing in America is phenomenal. They are both incredible. I cannot wait for them to share a ring together, and I believe it will be the first of 2 or 3 fights between them. It's going to happen. Just have some patience. Patience is a word in boxing that people don't like. Everyone wants to see something now. Let's have it now. Let's fight now. Big fights take time, and there are problems. There are injuries that happen. There's differences of opinions and dates and all of that. It's hard putting on big fights, but they're worth waiting for. Trust me, and trust is a difficult word in boxing as well, but trust me here, that fight will happen in 2022. I'm really hoping it happens in September in the UK. I want Clarissa to come back and fight here. She will, have no doubt, and it will be a fight and a night to remember, and we will make it extraordinary.
Brilliant. I do look forward to that one. One more. How far are we off React Poor Breeders? If June the 11th is a big night, a big fight in Wembley Arena, he's obviously headlining, IBF Eliminator. What are the conversations you're having with Richard and a fight with Maris Breeders? How close would that be?
It's an interesting one because I think Richard is still a couple of fights away. I said after the Dion Juma fight, I had a chat with him. I said, look, I think Turchi is perfect next, and it's a tough fight. That's a tough, hard fight. Let's see how he deals with Turchi. If he gets rid of him and deals with him really emphatically, maybe we take the gamble. Maybe we pull the trigger, or we give him another big fight against a tough, maybe a final sort of acid test before a world title tilt. But, we're there and thereabouts. If it's not the back end of this year, it will be early 2023. Richard Riakpor's the midnight train. He's rolling on. He's getting a lot of love from the casuals. But it's also important to make sure that, and it's not really my job, it's more Angels and John Wishes and Ben Shalom's to say, right, this is the time. But if you're asking me, I think I want to wait until we see what happens with Turchi. It's a big fight. It's a tough fight. There's no guarantee he gets through this fight. Let's see how he performs against Fabio Turchi. Let's concentrate on one step at a time. But I think he'll be ready for a world title challenge within the next 6 to 9 months.
Brilliant. Well, really good card. Sebastian Formella, Chris Congo as well, Ebony Jones. So many. Yeah.
Hey, you haven't mentioned Lauren's professional debut as well.
I was expecting her here today to speak to her.
Listen, I was with Lauren on Monday. She is so excited. She's going to be a special fighter for Britain. I mean, she had 50 caps for Wales in the football. And she's better at boxing than football. She's going to be outstanding.
Where is she?
Well, I haven't spoken to her today, but I was with her the other night. She won an award at the Boxing Writers' Dinner. Much deserved, along with Galalia Fai, the best amateurs. That was fantastic. One of many awards. One of many. They read out her resume at the Writers about her mixed martial arts golds. And I mean, I lost, honestly. I sort of just stopped thinking. I couldn't take it all in. She is a phenomenon, an exception. And along with her partner, Karis Arthingstall, who is one of the best characters in boxing and one of the hardest punchers, I think, in women's boxing. I'm telling you, we're going to have so much fun with them. They are the power couple in boxing. They might be the power couple in sport. They are going to be fantastic. I sound like a salesman here. Let's go back a little bit. I'm so excited about Lauren and Karis. And I think that Lauren turning pro on June the 11th and Karis turning pro on June 25th, let's get the party started.
And I have to say, although I said last question, the undercards are getting better with boxer 11th and 25th. I think are probably the best undercards yet.
You're telling us that? Okay, that's great because you know your boxing. We try. Look, there's been great fights on at DAZN. There's been great fights on BT. And on Channel 5, Denzel Bentley the other night. Great fight with Linus Udoka. Really good fight. We need good fights. We need great fights. We had a fantastic February. We've been a bit quiet. We've had a couple of really good tournament shows. We've done a lot of business, Ben and I, behind the scenes, getting things ready for a very, very hot summer. June, July, and a monster September when we come back I think. We all need a little break in August, so hopefully we won't have too much on in August. It's been a very busy year. But I think that the boxing on Sky I think the customers will be very happy with what we've got coming up. And I think you're right. I think that there's some really good trade fights and trying to get some good casual names in as well. A big mix with those tournament grassroots, something for everybody. And then the big top-ranked, world title fights coming in from Australia and America. I think it's, yes, and we never sit on our laurels. We never say we're the best at anything because we've got competition. We just know what we do. I think we've got the best platform, but we're not saying we've got the best this, the best that, whatever. We've got a great platform, and we've got a fantastic partnership with Boxer and with Top Rank. And Boxer and Sky are becoming more and more entwined. We're working together better. We've got to know each other much better. And I think you will see some phenomenal shows coming out. We had to get the fighters first. We have to now develop them. But I think it's really important that we've got the pressure of you guys, of the fans saying, hey, come on, we need better fights. We need that. And that's my responsibility. I'm the stop, I guess, between Boxer and Sky to say, hey, Ben, hey, Baz, hey, John Wish, that's not good enough. Or that's brilliant. Really, you want to do that? Great. So we're all in the conversation. And I'm very excited about the future.